All right. We are live with the first of many weekly manor or Willow Manor weeklies. This is Conversations with Zach, and we're going to be discussing a broad range of topics, personal stuff, how the real estate market's being impacted by what's going on around the world and in Las Vegas, developments, philosophy, God. We want to get into everything so that it's an engaging podcast. Today, I'm going to be covering some of my personal journey, what's happened in the last year. That was a big request from all of you when I asked what you wanted to hear about. And then also the LA fires, how that's impacting Las Vegas. That's a hot topic right now. And then I also wanted to share some thoughts since it's Inauguration Day. It's a big day in the United States. And so I wanted to dive in a little bit with that. So as you may know, last year in 2024, I got West Nile virus from a mosquito bite here in Las Vegas. We believe that it was from my sister's house during a birthday party for my niece from a pool next door. So I got bit 4 times and ended up with West Nile virus. And it was a crazy experience because I was very lethargic for a little while and didn't really understand what was happening. I had really bad brain fog and couldn't really focus on anything. And so I went to the doctor. The doctor told me I had sleep apnea. I was like, this is not sleep apnea. This is something different, especially such quick onset. And so we tested for West Nile virus, and sure enough, almost a week later, results came back and I had West Nile. From that point, it got really, really bad. So at the worst of it, I was a bit concerned that I was going to be here no longer. And what happened was I started getting pins and needles in my fingers, feet, legs, arms, and it started working its way up, eventually to where my left arm became dead. I couldn't move my arm or hand. It was just kind of hanging there for a couple of days. My face went numb, lips and everything went numb. My vision was impaired. I couldn't walk and couldn't think straight, and the lethargy was unbelievable. All of this was happening while my wife was 3 months or 3 months away from delivering a baby. So she was in her 3rd trimester. We had also just moved. We bought a house, renovated it, all during this time, not knowing that the craziness was about to come down on us. And so it was a chaotic time frame. And in the depths of it, I was struggling mentally. Fortunately, my support system is so awesome, and I'll get into what happened with our team last year and my business and everything, but I wanted to give you a sense of just the general overview of what unfolded. From that point, when I was struggling with how to move forward, my mom recommended this book called On Fire. It's a guy who was burned on 100% of his body when he was 9 years old. And the chance of survival was essentially non-existent. And so they had to skin graft from his head onto the rest of his body, little by little by little. And he eventually survived after months and months of battling. And then even through life now, because his whole body is scar tissue, he'll have infections under his skin that are terribly painful and wreak havoc on him, and a myriad of other issues that stemmed all from that. So lifelong debilitation, as most would see it. But to him, he saw it as his biggest blessing. And he was asked, if you could go back to that day, would you change it? And his answer is no, it's made me who I am. And so what he shared as his biggest lesson was that gratitude, even in the times of extreme darkness, is the most important thing in life. And that's something that I've been exploring rather deeply since that point in time. It was a phenomenal book, impacted me in ways that are hard to describe, because I started looking at everything from a lens of gratitude. When I look at pain and suffering in the world, it's so easy to become nihilistic or to view us as a fallen world only, and to look at everything as if it's painful. You know, we all experience struggles, hardships, things that keep us away from the beauty. But I think there's something that really needs to be said about how much of a gift just this moment of life is. We are in it for a very brief period of time. And before this and after this, we are either nothing or return to our Creator. And so for a moment in time, we're granted the gift of experiencing everything, of experiencing joy, happiness, struggle, fallback, pain, debilitation, children, marriage, work success, work failure, breakups, divorce, so many things, cancer. If you are able to see all of that as a gift, a momentary gift that we have been blessed with, I think it begins to shift how you look at the world radically. It's not that we should just be okay with the good things. We should be extraordinarily excited that we get to experience everything, all of it. It's a moment in time. And so embrace what is, take into consideration all of the beauty, the majesty, and the miracle that is life. It is beyond our comprehension how wonderfully structured everything is and how everything is so beautifully intertwined. And the more that we begin to have gratitude and focus on the beautiful things, even if those beautiful things are our own suffering, you will find deep connection and meaning in life. And so I think that's the first of many, and I'll go into that more and more, I think, as time goes on. But now to get into, and I wanted to talk about our team, my support system. I walked away for essentially 4 months from the business, and I had Mike McNamara, my business partner here, and Sarah, who essentially took over everything and ran everything while I was away. And I closed out the best year I've had, did close to $40 million in business, and our team did $60 million in business. We had an incredible year and crushed it, and Mike and Sarah essentially took over while I was out.
Yeah, I think it was one, we're happy that you're back.
Yeah,
because we definitely missed you, and you mean a lot to our team. But I think it was a great test to what we've built so far, to the systems that we have in place, to see that you can leave like that and it continues to keep going. And so it really, as much as it sucked to not have you there, it was refreshing and reassuring that it kept going, and
that we've built the right structure.
The structure. Yeah.
And so our team had the best year too. We were the number one team for Keller Williams.
Mm-hmm.
We did extraordinarily well when, frankly, the rest of the real estate world is struggling pretty seriously right now. And so I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of how much support I have, and also how successful that world is around me and what we've done. So now we're getting into the hottest topic of the time, which is LA fires and how they're impacting Las Vegas. This has been a tragedy. And so I'll kind of speak to how it's going to impact Las Vegas, and then Mike and I will kind of discuss the whole picture a little bit more, so we get some banter going. But if we look at how this is going to impact Las Vegas, my immediate response is not that much. However, would be what I want to go into. So if we look at how many people were under evacuation order, it was over 200,000 people were under evacuation order. That's a large amount of people impacted that had to leave their home. And still 84,000 people are currently under evacuation order. Large portion of people. The people who have had their homes burned down is a different issue. So we've had around 12,000 structures be decimated, and under 10,000 of those are homes. For Las Vegans, to put into perspective how much land area was burned, it's a third of Las Vegas. So if a third of Las Vegas was wiped out in a fire, it would be the worst event we could ever imagine. It's terrible. So a massive portion of land was burnt in the fire. 27 people lost their lives. It is a horrible fire. If we look at the 10,000 or under homes that were lost, and we say, okay, how many of those people are either A, going to rebuild, B, move to another city in California, C, move to another city besides Las Vegas, or D, move to Las Vegas. Even if we go to 10% of that number deciding to move to Las Vegas, it's only 1,000 people. And so if those 1,000 people all came in the next 30 days, it wouldn't impact our market dramatically. The real figure that is yet to be discovered. And so the answer to the question is, are the LA fires impacting the Las Vegas real estate market? The answer is not currently, a little bit currently, and definitely could in the future. And so
I think you are seeing, if you're going to see a lot of agents posting the opposite, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And I think a little bit of the reason of that is because there's a very small group of agents that do most of the business in this town. And those agents are the ones that are posting saying that they're getting clients coming this direction. They're feeling their phones blow up. And so they're posting out that they're feeling the wave coming, but I don't know how much of a wave that actually is, or if it's this small percentage of agents getting most of the business.
Yes. So for the reasons, is it having an impact on Las Vegas? I'd say no, but is it a little bit? Yes. And to exactly Mike's point. So within a few days, I received 3 phone calls.
Same here. I got 2.
Of people saying, I'm moving to Las Vegas, I'm done with California, and we are currently under contract on 1. We're likely going to be under contract on the other 2. And who are the people that are moving here? This is why it's not going to have an impact on Las Vegas. These are the wealthy areas of California, Pacific Palisades, Malibu. They are multi-million-dollar homes. So we're receiving $1 million plus leads of buyers who are going to be purchasing in Las Vegas. It's not the $400,000 average home in Las Vegas that's moving here. It's not the 500 or 600,000. It's the million and up. And so what I just witnessed in South Summerlin, all of the cliffs, Mesa Ridge, the ridges, you had homes that were sitting on the market 60, 90, 100 days, have been relisted several times. Multiple issues with these listings. Within the last week, all under contract. I mean, a huge percentage of them went under contract. You saw people buying them up, and that's our client. Our client bought in the ridges that we just had our contract on. So you're going to see wealthy individuals move to Las Vegas from this, and already are. However, they're going to the top agents,
right?
And it's only going to be this big of a percentage. And so the luxury market, especially in our biggest or more luxurious communities, are going to feel a little bit of an impact right now. They're going to see a pressure on the market from buyers coming in and paying cash, quite frankly. The yet to be determined side of this is how many of the 200,000 people that were evacuated, how many of the millions of Californians who are already frustrated with California, how many of them are going to be the ones that decide enough is enough? I'm out of California. I'm moving to Las Vegas. It's probably going to be an incentive over time that I think for a lot of people, that was kind of the last straw. They were like, okay, I'm paying so much in taxes, and for what? Because my trust was in the government to protect me at times like this, and they're viewing it in many cases as a failure.
As a government failure, yeah.
And so how much longer will they decide to continue to live in California? And I think the trend of the California exodus is going to continue, and they're going to move to places like Las Vegas, Boise, Idaho, Texas, Arizona. I think people are moving here, and that's the trend. And so the mega trend that is occurring is an exodus from California, and this is even further incentive for it. So will it eventually have a greater impact on the Las Vegas market? I believe so. Is the impact great right now on the normal market in Las Vegas? No. Is it impacting the luxury market in certain communities? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good wrap up. And I think it's important for people to understand there's a lot of talk about the insurance policies and the insurance companies leaving and that kind of stuff and the issues that are going on in California. I think what's really important for people that live in Nevada is that they realize that that's also happening here. We don't experience it much in Vegas, but in northern Reno, in northern Nevada, up in the mountains, they're having the exact same insurance problems where insurance companies are leaving, or at least the big six, I think there's six, right? And the big six are leaving these areas that are prone for disaster. And so some people are still getting insurance. I believe you said there's private companies out there that are getting insurance. But this is not a new thing. This isn't like 3 months ago, all of these insurance companies left because they saw this fire coming. 6 months ago or mid-year last year, we were in DC and we were talking to politicians about this issue. This has been going on for over a year to 2 years. It just happened to hit this town and one of the biggest disasters ever. So, it's an issue that we have to figure out eventually because, like I said, it's coming into Nevada and it's just going to keep becoming a problem if these disasters continue. But I think you have to be very careful listening to the news about insurance companies and this being this whole conspiracy of insurance companies leaving 3 months before.
Yeah, and I think that, the unfortunate side of this is that it's deeply impacting the average home owner. It's to them, if you see an insurance premium increase by 100% or more, it could drive them to the point of not being able to afford the monthly.
Right.
If it's a multi-million-dollar owner, again, the chances of them eating, even though it's a higher increase in nominal dollar amount, they have a more of a likelihood to eat that cost pretty easily, as we've experienced with all inflation.
So do you think that if insurance policies went up at the rates that prices went up on homes, it would help keep the prices down? You see what I'm saying? Because if insurance gets expensive, the buyer pool is going to be a lot smaller to be able to purchase that home.
I think what we're experiencing as the root cause is lack of supply. There are so many different factors that have increased along with home prices increasing.
Yeah.
Mortgage rates have increased when prices have increased. Energy costs have increased when prices have increased. Everything to do with home ownership, labor of repairs and repair costs have all increased. Property taxes increase.
Right.
So the burden of home ownership has increased along with the inflation of housing in general. The problem is we don't have a supply.
Right.
The single most important thing that we can focus on, which I hope that real estate begins to lobby in Nevada to our federal government is land. We need land. And so if we, here's a great example. California passed a law a few years ago that said you could put ADUs, additional dwelling units, if you had enough acreage and enough blah, blah, blah. Well, people in some areas, like really wealthy areas, put like 10 ADUs in their backyard.
Now, what is an ADU? Is that like
Essentially a shed.
Okay. All right.
With a bathroom and a kitchen and
Okay.
it's an additional dwelling unit. It's a tiny home.
Gotcha.
In your property because they wanted to fix affordability. And so they had owners take advantage of a lot of land, build additional dwelling units, and then rent them out. Well, that didn't solve the issue, and it allows for rentals.
Right.
It allows for rental opportunity, but it doesn't allow for affordability and home ownership, which should be the goal. That's the American dream that we all grew up understanding is own a home. We need to develop not affordable renting. That is momentary. It's a blink of an eye in the grand scale of this problem. If you build an affordable housing unit that's for rent, and for the next 5 years, it has to be affordable. Well, after 5 years, it's done.
Right.
Or after 10 years, it's
the
done.
high rental rates in California.
And so what we need to do is build affordable homes that people can own. And so what's amazing to me is the zoning and regulation here in the Las Vegas Valley doesn't allow for the development of tiny homes.
Yeah.
You cannot build tiny homes.
We've tried
with developers. You can't do it. That is astonishing to me that we can't deliver affordable product that would house people and not just in rent, but allow them to own their property and build wealth. So the thing that we need to focus on is getting more land so that we can develop cheaply, because right now builders are buying land for $800,000 an acre, $1 million an acre.
Yeah.
They can't build affordable homes when they're buying the land for $1 million an acre. They can only build $1 million homes or more. So we need the federal government to release our land so that we could have cheap, affordable land and build on it so that people can own homes that are affordable.
Yeah.
That's every state. We need to increase the supply.
And we're what, 80% owned by the federal government? Is it somewhere around there?
83% in the state of Nevada, over 90% in southern Nevada.
Wow. We need land.
We need land. We need land, and it's our biggest thing. So I hope everyone in Nevada makes it their priority. We've been talking about this for years, and fortunately, it's becoming a talking point with politicians and media and stuff like that. They're finally starting to talk about this, but it is our biggest issue. And the second that we have land and we can develop, and people can provide real affordable home ownership, that's the goal.
Gotcha. Now, there was a bill that had land being released in it. Is that correct?
Terrible bill.
Did it get passed?
No, it got passed through committee and got shut down at the Senate. Yeah, so there's going to be land conservation bills that are imagined to be land release bills, which is what this last bill was. Catherine Cortez Masto's bill released something like 25 or 27,000 acres, but it conserved 2 million acres in exchange. So to never be developed, 2 million acres permanently gone, and the 25 or 27,000 acres that would be released over 50 years.
And was that acreage surrounded by BLM land?
Yeah, so essentially,
we have trouble bringing utilities.
Everything. The bill was essentially to lock up any development potential, which would permanently disable affordability in housing.
Gotcha. So it's good that it didn't get passed.
Very good. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the fire? Or?
No, I think it's poor management personally, and a lot of restrictions of. So I don't think it's one thing that caused that problem. I think it was the perfect storm.
Seems like it.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm of. I mean, it was even funny. I saw a video where they said, "We're the richest country, and we're building our homes out of cheap wood," and they're just shocked at that.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's basically like taking a bunch of pallets and putting it on top of each other, waiting for the fire to hit, and that's what the Palisades was. So
yeah,
I hope we do things differently when we rebuild that area. I really do hope we do things differently.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think Vegas has a very bright future. I agree with. We look good right now. Relative to everyone else, we look great. We're one of the best of the West. In terms of affordability, shockingly, even though we're unaffordable, we're the most affordable in the West. This is something that you could talk about if you're a real estate agent with your clients, your potential buyers. And it's also, if you're part of the general population and not in the real estate profession, it's at least some saving grace that relative to the rest of the West, we are the affordable city. Portland, Seattle, anywhere in Hawaii, anywhere in California, San Francisco, LA, Boise, Boulder, Denver, Salt Lake City, Phoenix. So you name it, we are the affordable metropolitan area. Even Reno is more unaffordable
right now
than Las Vegas.
Short period of time before that starts to change.
So Las Vegas in the entire West is the most affordable metropolitan area. And so we probably have some room to be squeezed a little bit still. Yeah. So today's inauguration day, big day for the United States. Some people feel a great sense of relief and excitement about how America's moving forward, and other people feel crushed and scared. And I think this is something that if you've been listening to me or have chatted with me in person for a while now, I've talked about this. Centralized power has destroyed us, and it's almost made us dependent on it in this death spiral, because as more and more power becomes centralized, it means that the impact of an election becomes greater and greater and greater, because whoever is elected will have more and more potential to regulate or control or impact your life. And so people begin to be very concerned with the result of a presidential election, because it could mean that they may not be able to be employed because of their vaccination status, or they may not be able to marry the person they want to marry, or blah, 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 blah. There's a million things from all sides of the aisle that, as we ratchet up centralized power, you have to win elections. Otherwise, you feel like you're crushed, you're afraid, you're anxious. And so that's terrible. My solution, and only solution, to bring us back together and to prosper is to return power to the people. Doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. I think you need to have the power. We need to have the power as the people. That's how we were created to be. And so I think as we're moving into this next year, even though it's very difficult, given the scenario that we are currently in, with power being so centralized and things being able to impact you so greatly, you have to return your focus internally and towards your community, to rely on yourself and to rely on those that you are connected with, and to have faith in them. Because we've lost faith in each other, we've lost reliance on each other, and as I've just experienced in this year, it's one of the most important things that we could have, is a support system that is filled with love, that is filled with abundance, that is filled with care. And if we're missing that, we're missing the maybe most important portion of humanity, which is connection.
Yeah.
And so I hope we don't distance ourselves and continue to focus on only national things. I hope that we return our focus to what I can do each day, what I can do in my community, and what I can do in my own life that will make the world a better place and make me happier, more fulfilled, and successful. And so I'm going to end with a poem that I think is one of the best poems ever written. And forgive me for not having it memorized, but I'll do my best to read it with power. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. That is Invictus. And I think that speaks everything to how you should look at the world. You are in control of your own destiny. You are in control of your own happiness, joy, and fulfillment. Do not worry about the troubles that surround you. You have all the power. I think 2025 is going to be an incredible year if you allow it to be, and if you focus your attention on bringing greatness into your world and into others' world. Start to realign yourself towards benefiting others and really focusing on yourself. I don't think it matters who's in office. I don't think it matters what's going on politically. Let's retake our power and let's make 2025 a great year.
I love it.
Cool. Come back for next week and subscribe.